Good evening. It's another awesome day. Day three of becoming the Chayil woman. Good evening. Good evening. Oladile Peace. Good evening. How are you? How was your day? Let's start coming in. Let's start dropping our comments so that I know that we are online. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. It's good to have you. It's good to have you all. Let's share the link. Let's share the link. Share the link with your friend, your sister. Tonight is promising to be another awesome time. Another time to be wowed. Another time to learn. Another time to unlearn and relearn. Another time to be inspired. One of the things I learned from yesterday was to take my mental health seriously. And I also learned about the symptoms of what mental health problems could feel like. It could even be in the mundane thing, and you don't know that you're actually going through mental health struggle. Yeah, so let me know what you've learned so far, what has stood out for you. Let me know that you've been learning. Type it in the comments. What have you learned so far? What has stood out for you? What has stuck with you? What did you unlearn? What did you learn? What did you relearn? Let our speakers know that there's something they left you with. Let me see in the comments. Please type in the comments what you've learned so far. Today is day three, so for 2 days, what have you learned? One of the things I took home from yesterday that I did or decided I was going to be doing intentionally was to do a monthly check on myself. I told myself that at the end of every month, I was going to be doing a monthly check on myself to know where I'm at, to know the state of my mental health, to know the state of where I'm at mentally. Yeah. Yeah, I learned to always ask for help and not be a superwoman. See, that's very, very important, actually. Very, very important. I'll tell you guys my own story. Probably because I'm a first daughter, I'm a firstborn, first daughter. So I have actually worn that superwoman cap for a very long time. I've worn it for a very, very long time. And I didn't know that, it became a part of me. So when I was pregnant, I rarely I rarely disturbed my husband for anything. I was always, just on guard, doing my thing. All those things that pregnant women will say, oh, they were acting all babyish, all I need this, I need you to help me do this, I need you to help me do that. Can't you see I'm carrying your baby? That was not me. As much as I didn't really have so much pregnancy symptoms that were like vomiting and all of that, all those symptoms that really make you bedridden or all of that. Kudos to all the women that went through that. It's a lot. I tell you, it's a lot. It's not something to be joked about. So it's a lot. I really give kudos to women that went through that. But I didn't go through that. So I was thinking I could do this on my own. I could be fine. Was going to antenatal alone. I was just doing this superwoman. I just carried my superwoman cap and all that. And then it got to I think third trimester, and hmm, I think that was where I looked at myself. I said I cannot do superwoman again. I can't. But before I got to that point, I had suffered in silence. That's the truth. Because my husband thought I was always fine. I didn't know that there were things that I was enduring, that I was, keeping in together. I didn't want to disturb him. I'm like, I'm not the first pregnant woman. There are pregnant women out there, they're just fine and all of that. Don't know, will I not be the first and I'm disturbing my husband and all that? So I decided I was going to keep it in. I was going to endure if I have to. But I realized that I didn't get myself pregnant. I shouldn't have to do everything on my own. I shouldn't have to bear the whole pain and all that on my own, because at some point, the discomfort it progresses when the baby gets big and all that. The discomfort progresses and you realize you cannot do things on your you can't stand up from the bed on your own. You can't There are just so many things. Even standing up from the chair, it gets harder. Standing up from the chairs, sometimes you get stuck in a position and you're like, you need help. You need somebody to pull you up from that position. So I decided I looked at myself and I was like, hey, it's not just me, oh. I have a life inside of me that I need to preserve. So if I'm doing this superwoman thing, I'm doing myself a huge disservice. So I decided I was not going to do that anymore. I was going to outsource. I was going to get help when needed. I couldn't bend anymore to clean and all of that. So I had to outsource, and I told myself, see, this superwoman thing, let me give it to the people that have it. And since then, I dropped it. I did. I dropped it. And it made me realize that, especially if you're married to somebody that is kind, somebody that understands the value of what you're doing. I mean, the whole pregnancy and motherhood thing. He wants to help, but he does not know how to help because he really does not know how you feel. So if you don't carry him along and tell him, oh, this is how I want you to help me, this is how I want you to come in, he most likely do not know what to do, especially if it's for the first time. He has never been a dad before, he has never been in that shoe before. So if you don't carry him along and tell him, oh, this is how I want you to help me, then you will not get help. That's the truth. You will not, because it's not like he does not sympathize with you, but he's just stranded. He's looking at you like, okay, how can I help? How can I come in? But he does not know really how to come in. So one of the things Mary learned is that she should not be a superwoman. And I just shared my own experience with you to further help you buttress that point. So please, it's okay, to wear that superwoman cap once in a while, but when it has choked you, please ask for help. The worst you can get is a no. And I'm not even talking about married people alone, even singles. Ask for help. The worst you will get is somebody will tell you no. You understand? That's the worst that can happen. It does not change anything about you, it does not reduce your age, does not reduce anything. So please ask for help. We're talking about, if you're just joining, we're talking about the things that we've learned so far. While we wait for our guest speaker, she's stuck in traffic. Lagos. Lagos can be very funny. So she's presently stuck in traffic. She didn't know it was going to take this long to get home. So she's presently looking for somewhere she can stream from. So let's just have our conversations before she joins us. Somebody said that I learned that you do not heal. Oladele Peace. I learned that you do not heal from the same environment that made you sick. And that is very, very key, very, very important. You cannot heal from an environment that made you sick. I think I should keep sharing from my personal experiences. So another experience I've had to buttress that point is there was a time when I think I've talked about losing my parents, and I can't stay in that environment. I couldn't have stayed in that environment because I know the trauma their loss brought me to me, and I knew I needed to heal. So if I had stayed where I can still remember that, oh, this is where we stayed and all that, keep seeing the people that will keep reminding me of them, there's no way I would have healed. That's just an example. So if you need to heal, you need to move out. And I think the context of this was when Mr. Lawal was talking about why he tells his people that come for counseling, when he tells them to take a break, tell them to take a break so that they can go and maybe sort life individually, find out what's wrong, and then come back again to fix it. So that was when he said, use the sentence, you cannot heal in the same environment that made you sick. If you are just joining, we are summarizing the things that stayed with us from the very first day and second day. So what are the things that you have learned? Good evening, Temilade. What are the things that you have learned, from these 2 days that you have joined? Becoming a career woman is a gradual process. You cannot just wake up one day and say, "Oh, I want to be a career woman," and then you become. That's why we use the word becoming. It's a process. It's a process. It's a learning process. You get to the point where you realize, I want to be a better person. I want to be a better woman. I need to do better. It could be financially, it could be spiritually, it could be, in your career. You just decide that my life cannot be like this. And Mr. Lawal said something profound. He said, most times we look away from the cross, but we don't have what we are looking onto. We don't have where we are going to. We don't have, okay, I don't want to be like this. What do you want to be like? So if you say, "Oh, I am dropping this part of me," so what are you picking up? What are you picking up? It's just like me saying, "Oh, I don't want to do more than 1 hour of social media." Okay, I'm not going to do more than 1 hour of social media in a day. What exactly will I be doing? So you cannot just drop bad habits without replacing it with the good. So on the journey of becoming, there are so many things we will drop. But as you are dropping those things, you have to know what you're replacing them with. So if you say, "Oh, I want to be a better person," I want to say, for instance, we talked about our emotions. Our emotions does not define us. Our emotions should not define what we do physically or how we react. Yeah. So good. Let's say emotionally, maybe when I'm on my period, I don't want to lash out. What do you want to do when you're your period? Because it's not like these emotions are not valid. The hormones, medical science have said, "Oh, this is what goes on inside of you. This is what goes on in your body." It is valid, right? What do you call it? All of these hormones crashing, everything just mashing each other, and you feel like, "I still want to act right. I still want to stay on top of my game. How do I want to do that?" So let's say, "Oh, I'm the type that gets angry. What do I do when I feel that anger coming up?" So you have to replace it with something else. You have to replace it with a good habit. Else, it just feels like it's a waste. Let me give you another example. So this year, I decided that I'm not the kind of person to yeah, I said we're going to be very real. We are not, there's no, everybody that I've been bringing on, you saw that they were very vulnerable. So there's no point if I am not also vulnerable, right? So all my life, I've not had a time where I had to go through a schedule. Like, "Oh, today I want to do this, and not start taking it." In my head, I feel like I already know what to do. So when I wake up, I do the things I have to do, and that's all. But I realized that it does not help me get things done properly. It does not, because I could end the day not doing something that I wanted to do, and it does not have any effect on me. My life will go on. I will move on. I could just say, "Oh, procrastination, I'll do it the next day," because I know procrastination was my best friend. It hugged me like this. So I was always procrastinating. "Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow will come, I'll do it next tomorrow." I can still do it. There's still time. Before you know it, there's no more time. So I decided that, I think this start this year. It started since last year. I think I posted something on my status. I said, "Those things you say you want to start doing in January, why can't you start doing it in November? Why can't you start doing it in October?" It's we that define New Year as New Year. It's we that define January 1st as New Year. Every day is still every day. 24 hours is 24 hours. So I decided I was not going to wait. So it started in, I think, November, December, or thereabouts. I said, "Okay, fine. I don't want to procrastinate anymore." But instead of me just saying, "Oh, I don't want to procrastinate anymore," I had to pick up another habit. And that is me documenting what I want to do for my day. So for every day I document. This is what I want to do. Like for what I want to do tomorrow, I already have it in my head. I'll write it tonight that okay, this is what I want to do tomorrow. So when I do like that, if I have to go and check it every day to be sure that, oh, have I finished? Have I not finished? Am I on track? It helps me keep track on the things that I'm doing and things. So now I don't waste time doing things that are not needed. Say for instance, you can't catch me doom scrolling on social media, like I'm just scrolling endlessly. No, except if I have free time, and that my free time, I now use it for something more productive. I ask myself, what can I do with my free time? So let me just give myself 1 hour, just check what's going on. I don't even use up to 1 hour because I'll get tired. Let's say 10 minutes max, I'm out of social media. 10 minutes max. So I had to replace procrastination with something else. So as much as we are learning, relearning, and unlearning, those things that we say, okay, we want to drop, you have to replace them with something else. If you're not replacing them with something else, then it's as good as you not even doing anything at all. So you have to replace them with something else. So what are those things? You can type it in the comments. What are those things that you have decided you want to do away with? We could just talk about them while we wait for our guests. What are those things that you decided, oh, I want to do away with this thing. I want to be better at this thing. It might not be do away with something totally. It could be you getting better at something. It could be, oh, I want to start reading books more this year. You could pick up new habits to replace the old ones. It could be, oh, I spend too much time on social media. I want to replace it with reading books this year. Or I spend too much time gisting with my friends. When you're in school or you're in the hostel, you might, get caught up in that trap of having to gist with people almost every time. Say, I want to replace gisting with my friends with doing this. You have to, something has to give for another. Something has to give for another. Something has to give for another. So as much as possible, decide now that these are the things. So if I ask you, I want to stop procrastinating and maximize my time to learning new things. I want to reduce social media and replace it with focusing on spiritual growth. Exactly. That's how to do it. So as you are putting away the old, you are bringing in the new. So that's how it works. You can't just say, oh, I want to do away with this. What are you replacing it with? Unnecessary visitation. I'd rather stay home and read books and learn something new. Now, I like that unnecessary visitation, because there are sometimes you don't really need to. You can just say hi, but if they are worth it, you can go and visit. There are some visitations that I like the fact that you used unnecessary. So I can see our speaker. She's here, but our network is doing. Nigeria now. We're all in Nigeria. Maybe someone not in Nigeria, but okay. Mama, can you hear me? Oh, I can't hear you. If you can hear me, I can't hear you. I can't hear you at all. I know you are unmuted, but I seem not to be able to hear you.
Very well.
Okay, okay. All
I'm trying
right.
to find somewhere. I'm trying to find some light source so you can see my face. Oh
Okay.
wow, this is really crazy.
Yes.
Uh, Apologies.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I think I can do this. Maybe this would help.
Thank you so much for all of this. I know that is a huge sacrifice, but you're looking good
Either
by the
this
way.
or that.
Even with the
Oh
small
wow.
light.
This has shown me that you need to learn how to improvise and
Yeah.
how to when so this definitely is I think one of the trickiest sessions I've ever had because
Oh my
I've
God.
been in traffic and I honestly did not expect that I would still be on the road at this time. And for those who know Lagos very well, the coastal road is a new road, and
Oh,
in the very first time I got caught up on traffic in the new coastal road, the Lagos Calabar coastal road, there's never traffic on that road. And unfortunately, I got caught up on it. So I just found somewhere to park just as I came out of the traffic so that I can get on the session. Thank
oh.
you so much for having
Thank
me.
you for having us. No, thank you for having us. Actually, thank you so much. Because you could have just cancelled on us tonight, and there's nothing would
No,
have.
I would do that. I wouldn't
Thank
do
you
that. No,
so much.
I wouldn't.
I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you, love you.
Thank you. Love you
Everyone,
too, darling.
I need to introduce you properly. Everyone, this is Dr. Adekunbi Wuraola. Now that name Wuraola, it's very, very dear to me because that's my daughter's name.
Oh,
And
wow. Yes, I know. I know. I know. Don't
yeah,
mind me.
you know. And she's also one of my daughter's godmother. So it's such an honor to have you. I would have read your bio, but we need to beat
No, let's
time.
let's skip that. Let's get to the meat.
We need to beat time. So thank you very much. You
Yeah.
guys should help me appreciate her in the comments. Let her know that we love her and we truly appreciate her. So yes,
Thank
Mama, I have so many questions for you. That's why I was just praying that God, please, this is
Shoot. Let me start off with. So when I saw the name, I had to
yeah.
go and learn how to pronounce it. It's called the Chayil woman.
You,
So when
yes.
somebody said I said Chahil, I said, "Ah, please,
No,
I beg, I beg.
no,
No,
no.
don't form my hand." So it's the Chayil, yes, and
Yeah.
I'm happy to
From
be part of
Proverbs
this.
31. Yes. So
Yes,
yes,
yeah.
I think my first question will be this. It has always been on my mind because it's something I've also struggled with, and that's leadership.
Oh,
Now, it's not like leadership I've been in leadership positions before, but there was one time in my life where I was called upon to be president of a certain fellowship, and I rejected it because I felt I was not capable. It should be a man taking up that position. Why me? Why do you want to? And to be honest, I was not given the position. I think I don't know why. Maybe because of what I said and they had to give it to a man and all of that. So I felt like maybe I limited myself, and this is not the first time. There are
mm,
other times where leadership positions is being presented to me, and I just shy away from it. I'm like, if a man is in the room, please give it to the man. So how were you able to, is it destroy self-limiting tendency and you became first JCI president in Nigeria, first female JCI president in Nigeria? How were you able to do that? How did you feel like, oh, I can do this even as a woman? Because I know that we women have that self-limiting tendencies and we fight it every time. So how are you able to? That's my number one question for you, Ma. So let me hear from you.
okay, so maybe I should give you my background, and
Please
maybe,
do,
and
please
it's
do.
not necessarily everybody that has my background. So I'm an only child of my parents.
Mm,
And so it meant that my father saw me as a daughter and a son. And
mm,
so he empowered me and my mother too, right from a young age,
mm.
not to be self limiting.
Wow.
And so that possibly gave me the leverage, the foundation, because I didn't see leadership in the gender color. It didn't
Mm,
have, I mean, leadership didn't have a gender coloration for me.
mm,
It's about the little things you even do from when you're young.
mm,
So, were you a prefect in your primary school, or did you lead your debating society in your secondary school,
mm,
or in even amongst siblings? So, it takes me to it. If you're a firstborn, for example, you're a leader, and
mm.
you realize that at times the siblings or their children who are not necessarily firstborn but take up
Mm,
leadership position, and it's not
mm,
about you are male or female. I know you know that auntie who everybody revolves around, who is the leader, who tells you what to do, is in charge of family events and everything. And so
Mhm.
I often say that leadership does not necessarily have to be a rigid thing in a formalized sector, because
Mhm.
as women, we are leaders. When
Hmm.
you're running the home, you are a leader.
Hmm.
When you're that big sister to so many younger people who look up to you like a role model, you're a leader.
Hmm.
When you need to take decisive position on things, even with Oga in the house,
Hmm.
you just assume that leadership role.
Hmm.
And so don't let us look at leadership as a gender. Let's
Hmm.
look at it as a role, the first amongst equals, because you can only but lead people that you have similar interest in. And that
Hmm.
makes you all equals in the first place. And so
Hmm.
when you are the leader, you are just the first amongst equals. And so it
Hmm.
means that you are not only leading others, you're also leading yourself.
Hmm.
And so it's not a gender thing.
Hmm.
And I would say this to a lot of women who are out there, that you are able to hold your own to do a lot of things. In the first place, makes you a leader. So why not
Hmm.
take, as we say, that step of faith and assume more leadership positions? It can be from little, little things. Think back, and I've said this, think back to when you were in school. If you were not a prefect, you were a class captain. If you are
Hmm.
not a class captain, you were your house leader. Or when you
Hmm.
got to university, you were your department leader. For some things, you didn't even have to compete for or
Yes.
contest for. You just assumed the leadership position, or you were appointed, or you were selected. Another thing is you need to have confidence in yourself.
Hmm.
Leadership is about confidence, is about leading, having a listening ear to those
Hmm.
who you're leading, and knowing that you have a job at hand and you need to deliver on it. And so, what's the goal? What's the purpose? And let's deliver. I know you cannot do it alone. You can lead, but you must have a team that you're leading. And
Yeah.
the success of your leadership is based on your teamwork and also your succession. You cannot be the best leader in the world or in wherever if you don't have succession planning. The
Hmm.
next year or the next person's tenure must be better than yours. I always say it
Okay.
in all the leadership positions I've held, that the person coming after me must surpass my achievements. That is
Hmm.
only truly when I can say I've had a successful tenure, because
Yeah.
I've passed on the baton and the person has performed even better than I have. Let me stop. I know you have more questions.
You can actually express yourself because there's a lot for me. I don't know for others, but for me, there's a lot that I am learning because coming out of this alone is me coming out of my shell. I would not do this on a normal day. I have been I have been the visionary in quotes of the Kayuma network, but I have not put a face to this. I have never. Sometimes we will have to plan a program, and then the graphics designer will say, "Okay, send your picture." I'll say, "My picture for what?" Sample my picture. It's fine. I don't need any picture. I don't need a face. So I don't know. Something inside me just was just avoid the spotlight.
Right.
So
Right.
people like me now that we know that we have something to offer. I've dealt with it. I've gotten out of it, but I really need to talk about it. We know we have something to offer, but we are scared of the spotlight. We are scared of putting ourselves out there. Just maybe because of the fear of failure or the fear of what if, what ifs, so many what ifs. What would be your advice to people like that or people like us, that we are the ones holding ourselves back. We know we have a lot to offer, but we just keep holding back. What would be your advice?
So the first thing I'll say is I have what I call my three C's. You
Hmm.
must have a support system.
Hmm.
You cannot act in
Oh, network. I can't. I've stopped hearing
that
you.
gives you the feedback. You must have a system that gives you feedback, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Feedback in terms of um, your coach. Someone, we just finished watching the AFCON. Who is the
Mm,
coach? Who is on that field with you as you're
mm,
moving, as you're doing things, as you're doing all the behind the scenes move,
mm,
is holding your hands and coaching you on how to do it right so that when it's time for you to be unveiled,
mm,
you have your champion who is singing your praises to high heavens.
mm.
And not forgetting that you should have a critic. So one person can play all these three roles. You can have different people playing these roles, and you can have somebody starting off as being your critic. And when I say critic, criticizing you, not
Yeah.
not not to pull you down, but to make you better, to come out of your shyness, to come out of your behind the scenes, to make you more intentional about what you're doing, and for others to see the beautiful face of who is behind this. And sometimes you need that push, that gentle push. So it might be that critic, that will be very hard on you, and in turn becomes your champion.
Mm,
And
mm.
in becoming your
Coach,
champion, is
critic,
putting
and
and
champion.
champion. Yes. He's putting you on the person is putting you on the status, he's sharing your flyers, is
Mm,
helping you to get people to come to speak, to say, look, I know this very intelligent, beautiful young woman who has this fantastic program she's doing. You need
mm,
to meet with her. You need
mm,
to speak on her program. And that
mm,
person connects you to another person. And the person is championing you and is just there for you. If
mm,
there's maybe like a UN program for young women, who says, look, I know this woman who has been doing this wonderful work with women. She needs to get some grants so that she can push it out more or grow it into something bigger. That is your champion.
mm,
And your coach, like I said earlier. So you need the support system.
mm,
You can't do it on your own. And the first and foremost is you need to also believe in yourself. If you have gotten yourself to this stage, and this is not only about you, it's about
mm,
anyone who has a project. And
mm,
beautifully, we're at the beginning of the year. So there's no better time than now, to take stock and be intentional and be focused and determined about how you want to run the year. And
yeah.
so don't walk behind the scenes. Shine your shine. I would say this. I mean, those who know me is like, look, shine your shine, and others will shine their shine. Your
Mm,
shine and their shine will not diminish each other.
mm,
Rather, it will become a brighter light as everybody's shining their shine. I hope
mm.
I make sense.
Yes, you did. Thank you, thank you. So, are we taking notes? Are we writing down? Because this is a lot, a lot. And you mentioned having a support system. Now, what if a woman that wants to come out and she has looked left, right, there's actually no support system, or the people she feels like they should be her support system are not actually being there, they're not being supportive. What should she do? Say for instance, I remember when I branched into tech, I had at least I was doing well for myself. And then my mom will see me on my system. She'll be like, "Ah, what is this? What is this? What are you pressing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm doing tech." In her mind, she's like, what? You're telling me that if you press this laptop now, you will make money from it, you know? And at that point, I'm like, so man, support me now. Help my life, help my dream. This is what I want to do now. So, and I know that there are so many people like that they don't really have that support system. What should they do in that scenario?
Okay, so the first thing is you need to be emotionally intelligent.
Hmm.
Emotionally intelligent so that your perception is not reality. You can perceive some things as they were and they are not. And
Hmm.
you just gave an example. In being emotionally intelligent, you need to understand those who truly and genuinely are interested in you. And for you to know those people, you need to have start with baby steps. The
Okay.
other thing is, and let me use your mom's example, you know, at any point in time, yes, she was seeing you behind the laptop. Did you explain what you were doing with her? Let me give you an example. So I have three daughters,
Yeah.
and one of them, years ago, I would see her study, say things about Russia. She knows all about the Cold War. She's learning Russian language, and I could not just understand. What is, if anybody has to learn any language in this world, it has to be like maybe Chinese, French, and all of that. Russia.
French.
Who is talking Russia? Who is dealing Russia? Fast track. She was in secondary school then. Fast track. She gets to go to university and she studies international relations. She
Wow.
finished with a fourth class. And one of, in fact, the easy way for her was her thesis for her undergrad was about Russia and economics and all of that. And
Wow.
this is someone who had been studying, you know, I don't know where the love came from, but
Mm,
the dots got connected.
mm.
And what with what is happening in the world today, I mean, she finished school how many years ago and everything. See what is happening between Russia and Ukraine. And
Mm.
she's almost like an authority now because she can hold her discourse. And for
Wow.
people who are doing businesses and everything, she can she's finding a lot of opportunities, if you
Mm,
allow me to say that,
mm,
because of her knowledge of Russia, the language, and
mm.
things like that. So I'm encouraging her. I'm asking her about things. Anytime I see anything that has to do with that, I'm showing it to her. When
Mm.
there are projects or there are courses or there are conferences, I'm the first to share them with her because
Wow.
now I understand
You
her
understand
interest
well.
and
Yeah.
I can see where it may, I mean, it can take her in the near future, even beyond what I'm saying. So we
Mm,
also need one to open up and explain where we're coming from.
mm.
That's not to say that you open up and explain to everybody, because it's
Exactly.
not everybody that will share your vision. In fact,
Exactly.
they might not be in the same line with you, yet they are not happy for you. We know
Mm,
how these things run. And that's where I talked about the emotional intelligence, you know, to be able to understand those who truly and genuinely, and you would know, you know, we have this intuition as women. Women were fantastical. God
yes.
to He had over time to make us. And so we have this
Exactly.
intuition. And you will always know, if you might not lay your hands exactly on it, but you would know. And you know, when that thing happens, you say, ah, and I sensed it too, you know, and I thought about it. And so,
Mm,
so for anyone who does not have a support system, eventually you will get your support system by ensuring that when you're emotionally intelligent, you would attract those who will support you. And attract those who will support you is not money alone. No.
mm,
Resources, being there. Let me give another example. Support can be, I need to, for you, be in the studio and I have a young child, you know, someone who would say, look, for 3 years, just bring Wura to my place so that you
mm,
can have time to do what you need to do. That is support. You're not getting money, but you're getting time out.
mm.
I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So
Yes. Yes.
those are the kind of things that makes the whole of who you eventually are with your support system, with people who you think might not understand you at the beginning, but gradually are there. And you don't need too many people. You don't need too many people to do this. One, two, that you can count on your fingertips. Some people will be there with you at the beginning and some will fall off. And you
Yes.
have newer people coming. Some
Yes.
might be there all through, you know. So, and my last word on that is, don't be disappointed if you expect someone who should be
Mm,
with you to be there.
mm, mm,
If they are not
mm.
with you, hey, don't be disappointed. It's their loss. Because when it comes full circle and you become that success, everybody will come on board and want to be your friend.
Hmm. Yes, 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 yes. You see, that what you just said last, you're talking to me.
Mhm,
Like you are really talking to me because now I think maybe on the day when I have to share how we started this whole thing, I would really share. Because at the beginning, I made the biggest mistake thinking my friends will actually be my support system. And that was how
mhm,
I started. I started with my friends. And at the end of the day, they left me.
mhm.
They left me. Not one standing.
Aha.
Not one standing right now. So I get what you're trying to say. And then I felt hurt. I was like, I thought you guys were my friends. I thought you'd be my backup and all that. So I feel like, yes, I have that
And it's
experience.
your own vision, it's not their vision anyway.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So yes, still talking about support. How what's the role of having a supportive or not supportive spouse when you have a vision or when you're taking
Mhm.
up a leadership
Ah,
position?
ah, I'm laughing. I'm laughing. I'm laughing. Um, your spouse is first and foremost a human.
Yeah.
He's a human being,
Mm,
male or female. He
mm,
has his thoughts,
yeah.
and even though two have become one,
Mm,
don't also forget that no matter what, you still have different outlooks to life. You were brought up differently, and so you will still have your differences. But
mm,
I say there can be unity in diversity.
mm.
And so I have gone through different phases of my life. Like this, my JCI presidency. My husband didn't support me at the beginning. No. Ah, he
Ah, tell
didn't
me
support
about it.
me at all. He was, I'd been a JCI member before I met him, and we met in JCs. We got married. We are almost clocking 30 years now of being married. And thank you. And I mean, one of the things I just reminded him, I said, before we got married, I told you that this JC, I'm going to be president too. And you didn't tell me no. You
Mm,
encouraged me. As a
mm,
young woman before you married me, my parents encouraged me. Uh-uh.
mm,
Ross, how far? And for him, it was like, oh, we've been married for some time. We don't have kids. And I said something. I said the children will come when they will come. It's not about me
mm,
being a JCI president or holding office or not. And
mm.
truly, before he agreed to allow me run my chapter, we were in different chapters. So my
Oh,
chapter needed to have elders from my chapter meet with him. And I went home to meet my dad. And I
wow.
told him, I said, talk to your son-in-law. Because when I was in your house, you allowed me do this JC thing. Now
Mm,
that I'm married to him, this JC thing that I want to do, especially this presidency that I've always wanted to, and I said it from the day
mm,
I joined JCI that if there's no female president before me, and there could have been at least four, that I'll
mm,
become JCI president. I set my eyes to it, and God helped me.
mm,
And so we had to sit down. He was just worried that you're married, we're married, I don't have kids. And I told him this. I said, look, after this, and it was in one of the things I think you and you shared with me. I said, after this, I will slow down.
mm.
And so he brought out paper and I had to sign some documents. One, I
Yes.
cannot be out of the house more than three straight nights in a row. So when I had to go
Wow.
for JTI conferences, I could only go on Thursday because I can only spend Thursday, Friday, Saturday night out of the house. Anything
Wow.
after 3 nights, I have to be back at home. You know,
Wow.
he knew my itinerary.
Mm,
If my press releases, newspaper, TV. I mean, those were the traditional media we were using then.
yeah.
Everything he knew about it. So, and and for me, it made me accountable, and it also made me very structured. So back to your question, men. mm, Even though
Mm,
we are live on air, men will always be men. No,
mm,
if you understand that, you will give them their due. mm.
Hmm.
Having been married to him for this number of years, I know
Hmm.
how to push the buttons.
Hmm.
So ordinarily, a man will not come up or agree in quotes. Yes, you say it, it sounds nice, it sounds okay, and you think that you have him carried along. It is when you start implementing or you want to begin to implement
Hmm.
that you will realize that he has heard. As we say in Yoruba, mo gbọ́ kò mean pé mo gbà. I don't hear. It don't mean say I don't agree. So, so that is where you need to know. And there's nothing that patience,
Hmm.
there's nothing that humility, and there's nothing that calmness does not solve. Even from a small child.
Wow.
Once you set up your mind not to fight about it, you might need to defer it, you might
Hmm.
need to slow it down, you might
Hmm.
need to reconstruct the whole thing, but you will
Hmm.
do it. Carry
Hmm.
them along. Give them their flowers. Toot
Hmm.
their horn. Let
Hmm.
them feel and know that, in fact, even though you're the one doing all the work, oh, I dedicate this to my husband for
Oh God.
making me flourish, for allowing me to fly, for allowing me to become the Kahil woman that God has set me to be. He
Hmm.
is being a solid pillar. Just say all the things. And truly, you mean it, because if they don't want you to do it, oh, you will not do it. But
Hmm.
if they, as much as have allowed you to some extent, also know how to do it and not overdo it, because women, our over sabi at times is what gets us to the wrong side. So know
Hmm.
where to pull the brakes, know
Hmm.
how to balance the act so that it does not affect him, does not affect the home and the children. Just the balancing act. The truth of the matter now, everything is in phase in life. My
Yeah.
youngest child is writing his SSC now. So I have
Wow.
three kids, three of my daughters who are graduates and out of. There's an extent to how, you know, where I am is not where you are. You understand what I'm saying? I
Exactly.
can travel, I can do, and indeed, my work, is such that I get to travel a lot now for work
Yeah.
and everything. And it's not like the early days where he's telling me you can't spend more than 3 nights out of the house. If I can do 2 weeks out of the house now, I will do it. But of course, I
Hmm.
keep him informed because now we have settled into a routine,
Hmm.
and years has shown that there's maturity in the relationship. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, you have, and I'm really internalizing all of this because okay, let me ask my next question. You said something that you might have to defer. Now, you know that there's some level of ambition that women that have that their ambition level is like this. There are some that they've gotten to that point where like, okay, if he does not agree, I would submit and all of that. We are Kayi
Mm,
women. We understand submission. Now, where does submission come in, especially when it has to do with purpose? You know that this is what you want to do, but you have a spouse that's not letting you do it. So where does submission come into play? Do you say, "Ah, but this is what I want to do. I have to do it," or you defer and just hope that one day you will just say, "Okay, that thing you say you want to do, yeah, now come and do it." So how
mm,
where what's your advice on somebody might be going through this? She wants to do something, but the spouse is not letting her, and she knows this is what I'm called to do. This is my vision. So what's your
mm.
advice on?
It's a tough one, and it will be attacked from different angles. God loves women a lot.
Ah,
Mm?
he does. He does.
He loves us a lot.
He
And
does.
so the first thing is you take that man to God in prayer. Ah, I will kabash that prayer point on that man. The prayer point that he will not have peace until he will be the one to say, hey, that thing that you were talking about. And we're laughing about it now, but I honestly, I've seen it happen several times
Yes.
where it appears like he says that, yes, I mean, so why do you want to, is that the next thing, I'm not so sure that is the right. And once I start hearing such words, I know that, so it's either of two things. Either I go back to the drawing board and say, well, God, are you using this man to talk to me that
Hmm.
maybe this is not the right time or the right model for this project? Do I need to retweak it? And honestly, it's happened a few times. So if you know me, I'm the, gra gra, I'm the talking, I'm the on the move, I'm the, very expressive. My
Mm-hmm.
husband is very calm. He's a gentleman. He's the
Hmm.
Mr. English speaking. In fact, when he speaks broken English in the house, all the children will say, hey, what happened today? What happened
Yeah.
today? As in, yeah, so he's the, the Mr. Calm and everything, and,
Mhm.
very analytical. And so and it's happened a few times, when he has said, well, I'm not sure this is it. And I did have to go back. And I
Hmm.
found out that tweaking it and listening to him, just slowing down, ensure that by the time I brought it up again and said, look, after what you said, I've gone to look at this thing. And I think that maybe if I change it this way, or if we look at it from this angle, and I said, okay,
Hmm.
I'll use my bakery as that example of what happened, Had wanted to, I bake, I do things in the house, I wanted to have a bakery. But and I just brought it up with him. He gave me a birthday present, how to run your business. And I was like, what's this guy? I said, I want to open my bakery. You're telling me how to run my business. Is that what we are talking about? But honestly, I went back and I used the book and I looked through it again. I tweaked things left, right, and center and all of that. And by the time I came back to him, he just gave me the space for it. I would have had to go and look for space, pay rent and
Yeah.
everything, but he gave me the space.
Hmm.
So that's an example. At times, you need to go back on your knee and fire,
Hmm.
fire, fire. And that's why I
Hmm.
said it can be, you can delay, but there are some men that are stuck. Oh. My
Yeah.
husband is my husband, your husband is your husband. For some
Exactly.
men, they will not shift base. And
Hmm.
it might mean that, yes, you've gone on your knees to pray, but there might be people who also have influence on his life that you
Exactly.
might need to speak with to say, look, this is what I'm thinking. Talk to your brother now, let him give me some small pepper to add to this thing that I want to do and all of that. So you need to understand what your situation is. You need to know what works best. It might even be from the mouth of babes and sucklings, your children, to say, daddy, mommy has been talking about this thing. No? Are we doing it?
Hmm.
Or you just might need to bring him in and make him a co-partner.
Hmm.
Even it might not be that he's dropping anything, no, but just putting him as the head and recognizing that yes, or his input to say, look, let's have business meeting. So this is my project that, and he talks about you and say, okay, all right. You might not agree, but there's
Hmm.
some men that like things like that. And they
Yeah.
take it. I say, okay, I take it. And then he
Hmm.
allows he just wants to be the man. He just wants to be recognized as the head. And what
Hmm.
I say is what I say. What I say is the law.
Hmm.
We are Africa. We are not Europe. And I've
Exactly.
come to accept that. However, even as I've accepted that, I've also learned to see how it can be modified in my interest. I'm sure you've heard the saying that the man is the head of the home and the
Hmm.
woman is the neck. But the truth
Hmm.
of the matter, who turns the head? It's the neck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make it obvious. And
Hmm.
that's the wisdom of a woman who is building her home. He believes he's the one making the decision, but truly, you are the one making the decision. But allow him believe that he's the one making the decision.
Hmm.
Do you want to drag who is the head of the home with him? No. As long as
Hmm.
you're getting what you want to do, get done. That's the most important thing. And you have your peace. He has his peace. and he continues to be the head of the home that the Lord has made him to be. And that's just it.
Hmm. I think that's where millennials get it right, and we Gen Zs, we don't want to understand. We believe
Mm,
what we want to do is what we want to do. You cannot tell me what to do. What do you mean submission? Submission is suffering. Submit. I think that's where but there's an extremity to the women, the millennial women, how they handled it. There was the extreme part of it. I'll give you an example. My mom. So my mom wanted to go back to school earlier on. She
mhm,
wanted to, but my dad didn't see a need for it. Like, why do you want to go back to school? She said, I want to go back to school because I have the dream of having my own school, and I cannot start my own school if I don't have the proper certification. But my dad didn't see the need for it. And you know, this woman had to wait for, I think when the last born was already in secondary school or
mhm,
primary school, I can't remember, before she now, because I just gained admission to the higher institution, and my mom was also schooling at the same time. So she had to wait that long. So in my mind, I'm like, with this answer you gave, I'm like, if she had just made it clear to my dad, I'm very sure she prayed because my mom doesn't joke with prayer. Probably the prayers did not do just like you said. So if she had just made it, made it known to him that, oh, if I go back to school, these are the benefits, this is what you also gain from it. It does not take anything from you and all of that, he might have understood, because she never, I don't think she ever mentioned her she was just always murmuring, oh, he didn't allow me, this, that. And then sometimes she lashes out she will lash out at us and say, hey, it's because of you people I'm doing this thing, no, it's because of you people. You understand? So but at the end of the day, she achieved what she wanted. She had her school before she passed. She had her school, and then I saw the joy in her eyes when she was with these kids. And it pained me to see that she started really late, because she just found fulfillment. And I tell you that there is no child that went through her that the parent didn't come back to say, oh, I brought this child like this and my child is way better. So this was our purpose. Now, for Gen Zs that are listening, I'm reiterating this so that Gen Zs can also understand that, see, there's a place of submission. As much
mhm,
submission is not suffering. Submission is not telling you to keep quiet. Submission is not burying your dreams. Submission is just making sure that you understand that there's two heads cannot be, or two heads cannot rule a place. One has to
mhm,
give. So, and God has made sure that there's a structure for all the Gen Zs listening. God has made sure that there's a structure, and that's what she's trying to say. So the man has to always lead. Just make him the head. Make him know that, oh, you are leading. There's nobody's fighting this leadership thing with you. Just let me do what I have to do. And I think that is very, very profound. Now it will lead me to say this. I am not choleric. I don't have it in me to be choleric. I am very reserved. I'm just trying as much as possible to push myself out there. And I have heard it so many times that if you're not choleric, you cannot lead. I've heard it so many times that,
yeah.
oh, you have to be, how they used to say, jama, you have to just be there. If you want to lead, especially when you are leading a space that has men, if you cannot do this thing, you have, there's a Yoruba word, I'm not Yoruba, but there's a Yoruba word they used to use, like, you have to just show that, I'm the boss, and all of that. And I think that some women do that excessively, where you now
Mhm,
hear stuff like, when a woman is leading, she's wicked. When a woman is leading, how do you maintain your femininity even as a leader? How do you maintain that? Like, you just want to remain feminine. You are heading a leadership position, but how do you still maintain that femininity even as a leader? I really want to know that, because people like us, they say we cannot lead. People that are calm, collected, they say. So
no.
yes, hear you, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. I will just say something about what you had said about your mom. So when I was going back for my PhD, so my mom wanted me to do medicine. My dad could not be bothered. I think he wanted me to do law. And so eventually, when I did neither medicine nor law, my mom said, she missed being called mama doctor. So when I was going to do my PhD, hmm,
Yeah.
and I did it outside the country, so I had to pay in foreign exchange and all of that. I had to
Mm,
carry my husband along now. And guess what? I just told him, I said, the other degrees I have, they were my maiden name. Oh. This one
mm,
is not my father is doctor. I'm going to be Dr. Wuraola. It's your name now. That was it.
mm.
That
Wow.
was it, you know,
Wow.
because truly, it's not doctor in my maiden name. It's doctor as your Mrs. And,
Mm.
he gave me all the support and everything. So maybe
Wow.
if we allow the men see the bigger picture, what's in it for them, you
Mm-hmm.
know, just maybe we get them to also agree with us in something. So maybe if mommy had said, the school now, the school is our school. It's not my
Mm.
school. It's not my
Exactly.
dream. It's our
Mm.
dream. You know that your wife is the proprietress of. Men love things like that. They love to show off. They're like the trophies,
Yes. Yes.
They love to show
Yes.
with us. So when we also enhance them, or we say things, it's like you're bringing value to them. That you don't know that woman's husband, that
Mm.
woman, and she's the wife of, just like they'll say, he's the husband of that woman. And so that's just a tip. So coming back to our question. Hmm, hmm, submission. Hmm.
Mm.
Um, Let me say that different rules apply for different people.
Mm.
And submission is not being that you are submissive does not mean that you in your home, or that you are calm does not mean you cannot be a leader. It only means that there are different leadership roles. Unfortunately, I'm coming from the service of song of a former colleague of mine,
Yeah.
very lovely, pleasant woman,
Mm.
very calm, extremely calm, if I would say. But she's in tech. And when
Mm.
she was in our office, she was the only female in tech, and she was
Mm.
the head of tech.
Wow.
And she would say, it's me and my boys.
Mm.
So
Mm.
she kept her femininity.
Mm.
You must set boundaries. That you're calm, that you're a woman does not mean that you cannot, but you must set boundaries. The reason why women in leadership positions at times are seen as being tough is because people want to take them for granted, or
Yeah.
take them for a ride. And so they
Yeah.
quickly, and so what should not normally tick them off, they're already alert that you want to ride on me because I'm a woman. And so they
Exactly.
overdo it.
Mm.
If you understand what I mean, they overdo
Yeah.
it. So for you, the calm woman, you can be a leader. And as you're talking gently and everything, you're still firm. People will say that, don't mind her, despite her quiet man. That woman, as she's just talking slowly, she's doing, tell you to do this, that. Don't get on her wrong side. She will deal with you. Once they know that you can be who you are, yet you can be very decisive and you can take your position, you set your boundaries. Everybody falls in line. It's like a little baby that wants to do something, and he's looking at you, knows that thing is bad, and he's looking at you. Once he does it the first time and you hit the hand, or you spank, or you give a good talking to, he will not go back and do it too, because he knows that there's punishment there. So for some people, you just need to use one person as a scapegoat to say, look, I'm in charge and I'm in charge. When it's time to play, we play. When it's time to work, we work. When it's time to move, we move. Don't
Mm.
take my being gentle for granted. And I think that, just like you said, because I'm quiet, because I'm gentle, because I'm calm, I can't do it. No, it's a wrong notion. Don't forget, leadership is first amongst equal. You might be the quiet one while your vice is the gra gra. We've had it in Nigeria.
Mm,
When
yeah.
Buhari was president and Idiagbon was the gra gra, but they got the
Mm,
work done. So who are the members in your team? Who are your committee members? Who are you leading? Those are the ones that are your support system. And even amongst them, you have your, there's carrot and stick. The people that will go and cause all the trouble. Yeah, you've given them the power to do those things. And so when they're
yeah.
taking their stand, when they're doing that, everybody's thinking, and they come back, everybody comes back to meet you. That you can be the head of department. I mean, you can be, for example, maybe a director and you have a head of department, but you've given the
Yeah.
director the go ahead to do those things. And so when they're doing it with the team members, and they think is that person, the person is acting under your authority. You tell the person, well done, good job. And then they come back to meet you and say, oh, really? Your manager did that? So what did you do to warrant that? Remember, you are still the leader, but you know what you're playing. Some might call it politics, but I believe it is operating as a leader and ensuring that your team is a formidable team and they deliver on the goals, on the
Mm,
objectives of what that team is. Whether as a calm person, whether as a gra person, whether as a combination of the two, there are times you might need to switch, your personalities depending on what happens. If you are building a project and you're on the what's it called, on you're on the a land, and area boys come there to do you as the leader, will you be saying, oh, story, oh, don't fight, or you say, you people are who, don't let me call that for you, you change, and then
yeah.
and the team members are looking like, what just happened? Is it
Mm,
our guy? So you need to adapt to the situation if the need arises as a leader, and then you go back into your default because everybody has their default. You go back to your default. But if you need to come out of your shell to do to act in a particular way so that things can get done, or you are not taken for granted, or your boundaries set are about to be, penetrated, you need to continue to guard those boundaries. And I believe
mm,
that anybody can be a leader.
wow.
Anybody. Leaders are not born, they are made.
Mm, yeah. Hmm. Okay, so you need to wear many caps as a leader. So you just pick the
Yeah,
one that is right for that moment, in
for
that
that
moment.
moment. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I'm really learning a whole lot, and I want to say, if you have questions, you can drop your questions in comments. I don't want to be the only one asking questions as much as I have a lot of questions. So you can drop your questions as well, and then I'll share with her. So there's this question I have on my mind, and I want you to answer from somebody that, as a mom. Now, how was there a point where you had to pick between motherhood and leadership? Was there a point? Was there a point where you had to, or you found a way to juggle both together? I want to know, because for me right now, there are things that I have said. Okay, I will wait till when she's two. I'll wait till when she's one, and let me wait. I don't want to have to choose between, oh, do I want my daughter, or let me be there now. Was there certain times where you had to do that, or there was a
Yeah,
way you thought about it?
yeah. So I had the benefit of having my mom and of course house helps, because at some point in time my job function entailed me traveling quite a bit. And so and my I think there's just about 2.5 years between my twin daughters and their junior sister, so it was easy for the three of them to be trained together and all of that. And I had that balance, I had that support. But when I had my son, and so there's about 7 years gap between my son and my youngest daughter, and the time, when I was much younger and the I had my daughters, I did a lot of things for them. And so when he was about 6, I realized that uh this isn't working as much as, and I had girls and then this is a boy. I said, no, no, this is going to be somebody's husband someday. And
Hmm.
so, without being told, I actually took time off.
Wow.
I took time off about 5 years for my son, just as he was getting into primary school, because I needed to ensure that his foundation was solid.
Hmm.
And so I don't have lesson teachers for my children. I was their lesson teacher. They will come back from school, do lessons together. When I was not around, I found ways to do it. And when they're writing their exams, we studied together in primary school. I remember very well. Would study. I would ask them questions. And so this was my son getting into primary school, and I was missing out on this. So I actually did take time out, so that I could be there for him and give him the kind of foundation I gave his sisters. Did it pay off for me? Yes, I would say so. So when he would come home with awards, certificates, end of year, and everything, I'll say, "Oh boy, you're not the only one that has this certificate. We have it together." But
Wow.
beyond that, while I was also being present in the life of my son, I was also improving myself. And so by March this year will be 10 years that I had my graduation for my PhD. And so it was during that time that I also was like, ensuring that I was also doing something very meaningful, even though I wasn't in paid work, I was doing quite a lot of things to improve myself and all of that. I must say that I might need to um, close shortly because where I am is looking like it's not
Yes.
safe again.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. But those were the things I did for my children.
Oh, thank you so much, ma. I was going to close after this particular question because I know Lagos. I know how Lagos can be. So yes, thank you so much. I think I'll bring you up again one time, maybe in the future, because this we're not done yet. So yeah, let me release you now. Let me let you go. Thank you so much for joining. I'll do the remaining gratitude in your DM, but for now, let me let you go while I round up. Thank you, ma. We love you. We celebrate you. Bye. Okay, guys, thank you for joining. I really hope that you learned something. I hope this was value for your time because for me, I still have a lot to digest. I'll still go back and watch this again. I had my questions answered actually because most of the questions I asked were questions that were particular to me, and I believe that so many people were blessed by these questions as well because I had to check and I was like, see, many of us in this position would most likely have these questions on our minds. So yeah, I hope you have your questions answered. And yesterday we're not able to take or to share people that got giveaway. So tonight I will be doing that. Okay. So for those that we put a giveaway for those that wanted to get mentorship and guidance. I don't know if they are online, but if you are online, Mary Adebisi Oke, Oluwatoyin Oke, we have two Okes. Mary Isaac and Augustine Emanuela. So these are the lucky, will I call them lucky or blessed people to have mentorship and guidance, and it will be under me. I'm the one in charge of mentorship and guidance. So and what would this cover? It will cover a lot of things. It will cover accountability. It will cover a whole lot of things. We are going to be having sessions every month. We are going to be having books to read. We are going to be having self-development classes and a lot more. So I believe if you're online, please indicate that you heard your name. You have to be online for you to get this. If you're not online, then okay, so we have one more speaker and we'll be bringing her up tomorrow. I am really excited for this speaker that is coming tomorrow, and you do not want to miss it. You saw how Dr. Kumbi spoke, right? And you enjoyed it as well. The speaker that is coming tomorrow is one of the I think she's one of the daughters to Dr. Kumbi. So, and to be honest, I can't wait to have her because she's somebody that I really look up to, somebody I will call her somebody that is an image of who I want to be, if that makes sense. Like I see her and I'm like, this woman, this is where I'm heading to. Like this woman just does almost every she ticks my boxes. So I really want you to be online tomorrow as we host Mrs. Kemi Imiwe. So please don't miss it. Okay, I'm seeing two people online. Those are the only two people. And if you're not online, means that you automatically do not qualify for the giveaway. So those two people should send me a DM and we'll kickstart it immediately. So thank you all for joining tonight. God bless you. I will be seeing you tomorrow. Please invite somebody when you're coming, and the grand finale on Saturday. So you don't want to miss it. Don't want to miss it for anything. I love you all. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for loving me this much. I will see you tomorrow. Please don't forget to subscribe. If you have not subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe. Get us to 100 subscribers before the end of this week. Thank you all. Have a good night rest. See you tomorrow, same time. Bye.